Correcto, ya estamos en vivo, por fin lo logramos, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live finally through our amazing page, Imperiobnb. Ya estamos transmitiendo en vivo y en directo a través de nuestra página de Imperiobnb. Lo logramos, ya saben que de repente las fallas técnicas se ponen en nuestra contra, pero bueno, lo logramos. El día de hoy, oficialmente, en nuestro jueves de entrevista, bueno, pues le vamos a traer un personajazo que la verdad estoy muy agradecido de que esté aquí. La verdad, cuando se nos ofreció la oportunidad, dije, wow. So, ahora en inglés, now in English. Ladies and gentlemen, we are super excited today here at the Imperiobnb because officially we are bringing you the man, the legend, the chosen one, almost like that, the only one, Mr. Pierre, that it is right here with us on the live with us. So, Pierre, welcome to Imperiobnb. Bienvenido a Imperiobnb. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí y haber tomado la llamada. Thank you very much for being here and taking the call. How's up everything?
Hello, Sergio. Pleasure to be there and with everyone at Imperiobnb. So indeed, I apologize for not speaking a word of Spanish. That's very much my bad. We could do that in French, but unfortunately, that would not be moving the needles. Thank you very much for inviting me to this opportunity. Yeah.
No, pues hey, no problema in here. That's a good thing about being bilingual. Así we're going to translate for you. Pierre estaba diciendo que se apenaba mucho que no habla nada de español, pero le digo, no te preocupes, hermano, aquí está el bilingüe, te vamos a traducir por ti. So we're going to translate for you, so no problema. Bueno, vamos a empezar tal y como se debe. Let's start how it should be. Can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do with Smartbnb?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's probably not the most interesting subject, but I'm happy to answer anyway. So I'm Pierre Camille, I happen to be French. I moved to Brussels and I was working basically on a project, a tech startup, when actually what happened is that my housemate burnt out. He left his room and I started working on Airbnb. I started hosting on Airbnb for myself. I've been on Airbnb for 2 years, and I've been basically hosting 400 people for one private room and just my sofa bed. So that was really a high density Airbnb with always back-to-back reservation. And I was very busy host, always caring obviously about delivering the best guest experience possible. So considering that I'm living in Belgium, that meant doing some peer tasting and making sure that they would be spending a great time in Belgium. And what I discovered after some time is that it actually was very busy and it required a lot of time to arrange check-ins, check-outs, making sure that all guests would be leaving the reviews, possibly the best ones. That's when I started working on Smartbnb. So as a way to find what could be automated and discovering actually that a lot of the communication between host and guest can actually be automated with a machine, and the machine can do a better job than a lot of the communication that's sort of often generic between hosts and guests. And so the mission of Smartbnb is really to help Airbnb short-term rental businesses scale their operations without losing their sanity, which I found really important. So allowing hosts to get their life back, while at the same time not settling on the quality of the experience you deliver to your guest. So making sure that you can deliver a personal guest experience at scale for every single one of your guests.
Nice, correcto. I totally agree with you about making your life simpler. I was in the same boat, right? Getting messages at 3 in the morning. I'm like, dude, this is not gonna work. Until finally I discovered Smartbnb with my properties in Playa del Carmen, and then everything changed, right? So, okay, now let me tell everybody in Spanish. Ahora en español. Bueno, pues Pierre estaba diciendo que en resumidas cuentas, él estaba haciendo su negocio también de rentas a corto plazo con Smartbnb. Se fue uno de sus compañeros y él tenía que estar respondiendo todos esos mensajes, lo cual realmente era muy fastidioso, como decimos en español, ¿no? A partir de ahí, decidió fundar y hacer Smartbnb, lo cual trae una paz para ti como anfitrión de tu negocio de rentas a corto plazo, que no tienes que estarte preocupando de que tengo que mandarle mensaje al huésped, o que si me lo respondieron a las 3 de la mañana, o la chica de la limpieza, nada de eso. Así es de que eso es uno de los grandes beneficios de Smartbnb. Vámonos con la siguiente pregunta. Let's go with our next question, Mr. Pierre. How should our listeners gauge, right, if Smartbnb it is right for them?
We're working essentially for people. I think the key trait of our users is the fact that they want to reduce the input into their the communication with their business, into their business at all. So those are hosts that are trying to optimize, gain in efficiency, gain in productivity, so that they can basically make sense of, I would say make sense of the opportunity that short-term rentals represents. What I think Airbnb changed for me in my life is really allowing some financial freedom, the ability to grow revenue with more listings and the more property you're working with. But that's at the expense of the personal freedom that I find is really more challenging, even if that's small things. And I think that if you are indeed interested in optimizing, gaining efficiency, reducing your own input, and at the same time optimizing not for your own consideration of your own time, but also on the value delivered to your guests, making sure that they always receive the correct information, as personalized as it's possible, and also getting benefits from the platform, because every platform will put an advantage to the hosts that are more responsive, that are going to provide a high level of experience, in that it would increase, for example, the capacity to respond very fast to a new inquiry or to a request to book. Basically, that means a greater conversion rate. That means if you are able to deliver always check-in instruction and communicating the expectations better than anyone, that means a higher probability of having faster reviews. And that's something that Airbnb, for example, perfectly understood. So if they were basically a sales team, they are going to send more leads to a team that's able to convert more, because ultimately that's when they're getting paid. That really is the first profile, optimizing efficiency and reducing the input while at the same time maximizing the opportunity. And there is a second profile of our users that are more property managers, that are managing the properties for others. Mm-hmm. And here the consideration is a bit different. Because you can have processes that are defined on Smartbnb in what kind of message will be received for which property, at which time, in which languages as well, which is something very valuable for your audience. They are able then to onboard more properties from other people. What Smartbnb can do is transforming a business that is absolutely impossible to scale, which is property management. When you have 10 properties, you have 10 calendars to fill, and you're going to have 10 times the amount of work needed. Here, with Smartbnb, what we're working on and what we'll always be pushing on is on the ability to streamline the processes and make sure that you never repeat yourself. You never have to redefine a new process. Basically, one process can scale for an entire organization. If you start that with 10, you will be moving to 100 far faster than a local competitor, for example. So here, what would be our products is not so much reducing the inputs with peace of mind. That's really growth and scale without losing in operational efficiency in the same way. So I think that's a lot. One observation, basically from being in this business for the past 3 years, what I've observed is that it's really difficult to scale a short-term rental business without losing efficiency. And there is a dimension to that. That's really because property managers get paid essentially via commissions. So there needs to be basically a few properties that are going to make money. And you care a little less about the other ones because they require probably too much work for the return they can have. And basically with automation, Smartbnb with guest experience and with operations, you are actually able to make more sense of that long trail of properties and still generate revenue and generate profit from those properties.
Correcto. It makes sense a lot for me because when I started, I started like everybody with a room that I have extra in an apartment that I was, right? And then when I was managing, I have 4 properties in Playa del Carmen. It started getting crazy, but with the help of Smartbnb,
that's great.
So I totally understand. Sale, let me tell it now, everybody, in Spanish. Ok, chicos, en español, le estaba preguntando al Super Pierre que, bueno, ¿cómo podrían ustedes, los Facebook Live, ustedes que nos están escuchando y viendo? Por cierto, si estás viendo esto en vivo, escribe la palabra en vivo. Si estás viendo la repetición, escribe la palabra repetición. ¿Cómo es que ustedes que están pueden saber si realmente Smartbnb es adecuado para ustedes? Y bueno, decía, bueno, hay de 2 partes, ¿no? Está nada más la primera que Si tú eres quien tiene tu listado en Airbnb, lo estás haciendo y quieres mejorar, quieres aumentar tu productividad y sobre todo, lo más importante, creo que fue lo que me gustó, si quieres tener la libertad, correcto, no estar esclavizado a tu negocio de rentas a corto plazo, bueno, pues Smartbnb te puede brindar eso. Ahora, ¿qué pasa si eres un administrador de propiedades, correcto? Que tengas, como le platicaba yo a Pierre, que tengas 5 propiedades como tengo yo allá en Playa del Carmen, correcto, o que tengas 10, imagínate la locura de tratar de controlar todos los mensajes, enviar. Bueno, exactamente por eso Pierre creó Smartbnb, correcto, y es lo que está ayudando. Igual, y me estaba diciendo al final que están promocionando y creando más cosas para Smartbnb, para que si tú eres un administrador de varias propiedades, bueno, no tengas que estar complicándote la vida con estar siguiendo los mensajes, automatización, todo ya está hecho. Recuerda que la semana que entra el lunes voy a estar dando un taller acerca de cómo conquistar, cómo dominar Smartbnb. Escribe la palabra taller abajo en la cajita y te diré exactamente cómo puedes acceder a este clase. Ok, ahora, Super Pierre, tell me, what are the top 5 areas that I, as a Smartbnb, should concentrate on using it?
You mean the features that you can use as a user on Smartbnb, the top 5 features for you? Well, one of the top features that I think would be of great interest to your audience is the fact that often you can, you can automate messaging. That's always going to be in one language, and there may be incidents and issues with that. So we're actually working with 28 languages, obviously including Spanish, so that basically you can build the guest experience for each guest depending on the language that they would use. That's something that we want to deliver, is making sure that you can communicate to your guests in the language you use. We're a bit smart about this, and we're trying to be a bit smarter into every little detail, but we are actually going to use a language that your guest is using on Airbnb, so that if they decide to view your listings in say, Chinese, for example, pay in Chinese, etc., and you have set up your communication in Chinese, then they will receive the communication from you in Chinese as well. So obviously the thing to keep in mind is being able then to be able to communicate with them, because you create an expectation to communicate in Chinese. That's really one of the core features. What I would think that to provide the highest return on investment is having a response to a new booking inquiry. So the first contact with a guest. And you can do that very conveniently. You have, when you start your Smartbnb account, you're going to have a list of pre-set up rules and templates that have been tested in the wild, and we know, we're confident that they will work to answer the first level of questions from your customers and communicate expectations, and providing also a call to action, making sure that they understand, create some urgency to have them book as fast as possible. That's basically, if you get that done, you're going to be able to provide a personal experience and having a fast velocity of replies.
Very true.
Obviously, there's going to be the normal workflow, sending check-in, check-out instructions, having a message in the middle of the stay after the first night, say, to make sure that if there is an issue, you're able to communicate with them. And then, so that's something that we also, as a feature, is a questions flow. So that will be the fourth one. Being able to detect questions directly on the conversation on Airbnb. So that would allow you to directly to Smartbnb to detect questions directly in the conversation. So for example, if they ask for a discount request, if they ask if it's possible to come with babies, with children, if you have Wi-Fi and what is Wi-Fi password, if you provide parking, all the list of the common answers that you have. And we are basically working on machine learning models that are trained to answer those questions with a very high level of confidence. It doesn't require you to be a techie and to understand any of those words. The reality, what you need to do, we have been working on the hard things, which is really detecting those questions. The only thing that you need to work on is really defining what your replies would be. So those are questions where, for example, discount request, yes, no, this is something that's relatively, you already have an opinion on discount request that may not be flexible depending on the guest for what you can automate. And I think the fifth one is the killer feature of Smartbnb. And that's something that I encourage every user to use, because it's basically the toolbox to solve a lot of problems that come with automating, while at the same time delivering a personal experience. And that is with custom codes. So custom codes are a very convenient feature. You design paragraphs within Smartbnb that are going to be defined on a particular property, on a particular Airbnb account or an HomeAway account. And that can be conditional. And you have a list of 20 conditions that are going to be defined. The usage for this is, for example, if you have a reservation for guests that are staying more than 2 nights, you can have a different message than if a guest is staying for more than 3 nights. Yeah. If you have someone that's staying with less than 2 guests, you can have a different message than the one staying for 4 guests, for example, using the sofa bed. If we detect that the guest is likely to take a plane, we'll be able to, you can create a check-in instructions part, template part, with just the airport instructions, so that if the guest is likely to take a plane, we will be including automatically the instruction for the direction from the airport to your place, and tips, using Uber, this kind of thing. We're saying, for example, just before, what would be the replies to discount request? Well, a lot of hosts would, for example, like to have a different answer depending on the proximity to the check-in date. If you have a same-day booking, obviously you have a greater incentive to communicate a booking request. So you can actually say that if the check-in is within 3 days, you can offer a booking request. You can offer, a discount request. While if the guest is staying, is basically the stay is far out, then you're able to say, well, you know what, it's not clear yet, or say a decline no, depending on things. All this logic, which can be relatively complex and burdensome, can actually be completely streamlined and simplified. Yeah. And once it's configured, it's set and forget. You never have to touch on this ever again. You can obviously adapt different things. So the custom code is really the killer feature that enables our host to automate a lot of things, but have having messages that are always adaptive to the situation of the guest, and depending on many data that would be really challenging to keep track of if you are indeed a busy property manager, or if you are trying to minimize your input, which is not going to be workable at this level. So multi-language, new booking inquiries, automating the process of sale. So having Smartbnb sell the stays for you while you sleep. Yeah. Having the possibility of automating the delivery of your hospitality, so check-in, check-out, staying, every message before and after the stay. And I think, questions flow, having Smartbnb detect questions so that you can provide replies that match a different stage of the conversation. And the last step would be really custom codes, automating the flexibility, or having adaptive messages for each situation for your guest.
I totally agree, Super Pierre. Like, one of the things, especially me, like bilingual, there in Playa del Carmen, dude, you get Italians, Germans, French, a lot of Europeans go to Playa del Carmen. So it was so easy for Nice and me, like I plug into my Smartbnb, and you can start in English or in Spanish, and then you just select the language and it auto-translates for you. That was one of my favorite things to do. So, hey, maybe I don't speak Vietnamese, but I put it in there and the software does the translation for me. That part, I love it. Same thing between the answering the message when you're sleeping at 3 in the morning and your own, I call it my virtual receptionist, right? My virtual assistant is making the sale for me while I'm sleeping. That's other of the big things. And even yesterday, I was explaining in the Facebook Live of yesterday how, like, if Mr. John and Mary come make a question, maybe he doesn't know, he asked me, we put it in the profile, like you were saying, the blogs. So you are already having those answers ready for future things. So once that is set up, I'm done. I'm going to drink mimosas on the beach, like I like, right? Okay.
That sounds like a plan. Very interesting in that plan.
Hey, wait. Leave the work for the virtual assistant. Meanwhile, let's go for mimosas on the beach. Let me say now in Spanish. Ok, chicos, le estaba preguntando aquí a Pierre que, bueno, ¿cuáles son esas características que realmente es lo que el usuario de Airbnb o el usuario de rentas a corto plazo encontraría beneficioso en usar? Y dice, bueno, mira, primero y antes que nada, vamos a suponer que eres un latino o Colombia, mexicano, español, qué sé yo, que hables español, pero no hables ningún otro lenguaje, ¿verdad? Bueno, pues Smartbnb tiene, how many languages Smartbnb is translating at this moment?
28 languages.
Puede traducir 28 lenguajes, lo que quiere decir, si tú no sabes inglés, si tú no sabes alemán, no sabes francés, tú nada más pones en español y el programa hace la traducción por ti para que cuando un huésped te haga una pregunta en cierto idioma que tú no hables, te haga la traducción. También el programa puede ser como tu mismo, vamos a llamarle asistente virtual de ventas, que mientras tú estés durmiendo y alguien está haciendo una pregunta acerca de tu listado, el software responde todas las preguntas y invita a hacer la venta y reservación al futuro huésped, ¿correcto? Otra opción es también, se los explicaba yo ayer en el Facebook Live, que si alguien les hace una pregunta y tu asistente virtual, tu recepcionista virtual con Smartbnb no la sabe, bueno, pues la escribimos y la ponemos dentro de las políticas de respuestas y ahora ya las respuestas están automatizadas. De esa manera, ya cuando una vez esté todo montado, como le decía Pierre, ya está automatizado, ya lo ponemos, ahora nos vamos a la playa a tomar unas mimosas, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, ahí está, chicos. Veo que están viendo, I see Michael is over here. Michael, we send you greetings. Mo, also Lalo, están aquí. Si tienen preguntas, guys, if you have questions about Smartbnb, aprovechen, escríbanlas aquí abajo en los comentarios. Type it down below in the comments, and we're going to make it pass to Mr. Pierre. Ok, vámonos con la siguiente pregunta. Let's go with our next question. Mr. Pierre, let's see which one I would like. It's like I have a bunch of questions for interviews, and I'm like, which one is good one for the moment? What does it really take to succeed, right, with Smartbnb?
What does it take to succeed? That's a tough one. Because my job is to make sure that it's as easy as possible. And it's basically as democratic and and accessible to everyone, irrespective of their profile, of their ability to work on a product that is honestly relatively complex. So that's one of the reasons why we went through a redesign, because it was getting quite complicated to use different features, and we wanted basically to streamline a lot of the different ways to use a product, make sure it was easier for us to deliver far more value to our customers. And we're basically still receiving a lot of feedback, and we have a lot of work on the pipeline to keep improving the experience of using the product, which I think is really far better now than it was just a few minutes ago. And even every week, we're working really hard to improve. It fundamentally depends on what are your objectives, and then I can go back to those different user personas. You can trust that Smartbnb will be working on how you've configured it, and we're going to make it really working really hard also to make sure that we have a product that just works when you plug it, you connect your Airbnb account, and then you configure it once. Most of the hard work is not made by Smartbnb. That's still made by you as a host. And we are just basically the assist. We are the support for you to take more time to work with your guest, making sure that you can go above and beyond. But I think we can still do a far better job, especially in exchanging tips and best practices. So we started just a few weeks ago having a blog that is there to communicate, from influencers and thought leaders. I'm happy to, I would love to read your post on that blog as well. But really from people that communicate very openly about how they achieved their goals and their milestones, and how they have been using Smartbnb in the process. So that's one part of things. But what we really want to do is really educate our users. That's something that's going to be a far-fetched goal, and I'm not sure, and I cannot have any timeline on this, but really be able to educate our hosts, our users, to have best practices on which I think they already are implemented, and it will be far easier for us to be the focal point of that kind of those best practices, and on board not only how to deliver a best guest experience, but really how to run a short-term rental business. That's something that we're still going to be working on for years, actually, I think, for that. Because it depends basically on objectives. The best way is also maybe to reach out to our customer support team to ask them any questions on how we can use the product. What we like to understand is basically what is the outcome, what is the thing that you're trying to achieve, and then we can guide you best on what maybe you will need to know. and how to best use Smartbnb as well.
Okay, I love that. You know what was for me that what it really takes to succeed in Smartbnb? Just start doing it, man. Don't think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you. I started using your platform last year, and I was saying to Angie that I really like the new redesign. It is more user-friendly. So this no new change. I have seen the transition. First of all, aplausos. I like it a lot. So I feel that what you said is great. I will translate in a moment. Ahorita les traduzco en un momento. But the most important thing, as like you said, that thing of the blog, keep improving. I think that that's going to be the best part. My thing I'm here, I think Smartbnb makes the life of a short-term rental manager or an Airbnb host easier, simpler, and else, right? Especially because you don't have to be stuck into your phone or trying to think about. We both know that if you want to be a super host, your answer rate has to be top, right? When people are sleeping and you're getting those messages you're not answering, you're missing big time. So that's one of the huge things to succeed with Smartbnb is just to jump on it, have your virtual assistant doing all the things for you. Bueno, ahora en español, now in Spanish. Estaba hablando con Pierre que qué es lo que necesita para hacer exitoso con Smartbnb. Y bueno, nos decía simplemente, Smartbnb se dedica a hacerte la vida más fácil a ti. Acaban de tener un rediseño de su marca de gráficos y todo para hacer que las cosas sean más sencillas y fáciles para ti. Entonces, la única manera para ser exitoso con Smartbnb, como le decía a Pierre, es simplemente salta, hazlo y ya ponte a usar Smartbnb. Bueno, ahora sí, para finalizar, Mr. Pierre, to final, say goodbye at the way of an emperor, a decir a la manera de un emperador, adiós. Bueno, ¿qué últimas palabras de sabiduría te gustaría pasarles a todos los que están viendo o escuchando esta llamada? What it will be the final words of wisdom would you like to pass on everybody who's listening or watching this Facebook Live?
Words of wisdom. I'm not generally good at those. I think that's good for any business owner. And that's something that I experience also daily, working on a team, working on a product, and working on us as a company. Never have to lose track, obviously, of what your user wants and what your user needs. What user says is probably not what they actually need, and you need to try and strive to be above and beyond and show them that you can be better than what they even can imagine. That's really what we're trying to work on. It's a product principle of us. It's we're not tellers. We don't tell stories. We should never be able to tell stories. We have to show the value that we deliver in very obvious ways. That's one of the key things that we're trying to have at Smartbnb. The other thing is really, in doing so, you should never lose track of yourself. You're working really hard. You sacrifice weekends. Some users, I know, are sacrificing their own vacation so that they can serve their customers and guests. This is one of the biggest frustrations of this industry. The only way to really grow is to find meaning in the work you're doing every day. And that basically should also set boundaries on what you can do, what you're willing to do, and there can never be work or units of work that are meaningless to the user, to the guest, and to you as well. That has to be bringing something to you, and that's something that's relatively hard to achieve. Obviously, finding meaning in the work you do every day, it's hard to keep track, but keeping that discipline, I think, really helps you the motivation and keeping improving.
Bien, entonces, I love that one, totally. Thank you very much for sharing that. So, translation, traducción, chicos. Estaba preguntando que cuáles sean unas palabras de sabiduría que les quiera compartir Pierre a él, y decía, bueno, mira, hay muchas personas que hasta sacrifican sus vacaciones con tal de satisfacer a sus clientes en sus negocios de rentas a corto plazo. Algo que él ha descubierto es que realmente no hay necesidad de esto, y la misión, el chiste es encontrar quien haga el trabajo por ti, ¿no? Smartbnb es aquí nuestra opción que va a liberarte, como ustedes ya lo conocen, me han escuchado. A mí no me gusta creer que renuncias a tu trabajo para volverte esclavo ahora de tu emprendimiento. No. Parte del curso de Imperiobnb te enseñamos a cómo automatizar todo para que no tengas que estar ahí metido las 24 horas del día cuando puedes estar disfrutando con tu familia. y es lo mismo que acaba de hablar Pierre, ¿correcto? Así es de que, bueno, ya está. Para despedirnos, to say goodbye, we're gonna give them a nice coupon, correct, Mr. Pierre, where they're gonna get 3 weeks for free, correct? If I don't get confused.
Yeah, we're gonna try to make it work. That's something relatively new for us. So if a user is coming, obviously from your link and from your coupon code, make sure they reach out to us so that we can apply that as well. So that would be a good opportunity to contact the customer support in the first place and make sure that the setup is working fine.
Sí, like I just shared the link right now in the comments. Acabo de compartir el enlace. Angie was the one who gave it to me, so that one is ready. It's booked, no problema. Sí, Pierre was like, did you check? Sí, don't worry. We're good, Pierre. Excelente. Bueno, Pierre, it was a pleasure. I hope that is not the last time. Officially today we were simulcasting on my page of Imperiobnb. I'm also part of the Savvy Real Estate Investors. They're also super they were curious about Smartbnb. So now both of those audience were here with us tonight. They're also watching this inside of our free groups. So tonight, Pierre, you just became famous in the state and in Mexico.
Well, that's a bit where I'm embarrassed about, but that's okay. Thank you very much, Sergio. I really hope that's not going to be the last time. I hope we can meet up again in some time.
I will see you on the beach, man.
And yeah, that would be good. I mean, you have a plan with Mimosa, so that sounds a really interesting plan.
I'm trying to organize a party there on the Caribbean in Playa del Carmen. We're going to bring Angie, Pierre, the whole 9 yards. It's not
the entire team. We're flying the entire team in the Smartbnb 747.
Done. Okay. Everybody on Smartbnb now, they're going to be having me accountable. Like, a ver, Sergio, where's the property now?
You need to have a big one. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sergio. Thank you very much, everyone that's been listening and has been accepting this French accent of mine.
It was really fun. I will see you on the next time for sure.
Thank you, Sergio.
No problema. Ok, bueno, chicos, pues ahí está. Ahí lo tuvieron nada más y nada menos al super Mr. Pierre, CEO de Smartbnb. Muchísimas gracias a todos los que estuvieron viendo esta transmisión. Ya lo sabes que a partir del lunes de la semana que entra hasta el viernes, voy a estar dando un taller, clase especializada desde cómo crear tu cuenta, cómo configurar tus mensajes, todo lo que hablamos, descubriste aquí con Pierre, bueno, vamos a tener nuestro taller dentro de Imperiobnb 2.0. Si tú quieres ser parte de esto, solamente tienes que adquirir tu membresía para Imperiobnb 2.0. Lo único que tienes que hacer, escriba abajo en la cajita, dame el curso o dame el taller y será nada más y nada menos para ti. Ahí voy a compartir el enlace para que vayas y adquieras tu membresía. Mientras tanto, mandamos saludos a Mo. We send greetings to Mo. Mandamos saludos a Michael, que también estuvo aquí. Muchísimas gracias a Lalo, muchísimas gracias a Angie. Chicos, si ustedes estuvieron viendo este video y no dije su nombre, es porque no dejaron caer un comentario aquí abajo en la cajita blanca. Mientras tanto, muchísimas gracias. Vamos a presionar los me gusta y los corazones de este lado. También aquí está el botón de compartir. Comparte este video. Si tú estás viendo este video en YouTube, también apóyanos con compartirlo, distribuirlo. Díganle a todo el mundo acerca de que Smartbnb es la opción, sobre todo para todos los latinos. ¿Cuántos latinos no conozco que no hablan ni jota de inglés? Imagínate que el programa traduzca por ti y ahora ya puedas aceptar huéspedes internacionales en tu listado de rentas a corto plazo. ¿Sería beneficioso esto para ti? Escribe la palabra beneficioso abajo si sería esto genial para ti. Mientras tanto, muchísimas gracias a todos. Nos vemos mañana a las 8 de la mañana para despedir la semana de tu recepcionista virtual con Smartbnb. Mientras tanto, sean felices, no hagan nada malo que no hiciera yo y ya lo sabes que si no estás haciendo dinero con Smartbnb, ni siquiera estás haciendo centavos. Hasta la próxima.